What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Today's video is going to focus on how to write a strong body paragraph for your English literature essays. This is the third video in my How to Become a Stronger Writer series. Now, if you haven't checked out my videos on how to write a thesis statement and how to write an introduction paragraph, I highly recommend you go check those out. But in today's video, I want to break down what you need to make a strong analytical body paragraph for your English literature essay. So let's get on with the video. Alright, so we're going to be talking about how to write a body paragraph for your English essay. Now, if you notice in the title, it says Essay Paragraph Formula. That's exactly what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a formula to follow when writing your body paragraphs. Now, once you have mastered this formula, you can really start breaking out into your own style and figuring out what works with your own writing style. However, if you're still beginning and not very comfortable with writing English essays, I do recommend that you follow this formula. And the formula is called MEAL. It's right there, MEAL. Now, if you have an extended MEAL paragraph, it will be MEAEAL. I'm going to explain each part of this mnemonic device, MEAL, in the next slide. Okay, so the M is your main idea sentence. Now, your main idea sentence will start your body paragraph. Remember, you already have your thesis statement. That is in your introductory paragraph. Now you have a new paragraph and you need a main idea sentence. This is a topic sentence and will tell your reader what they're going to read about in this paragraph. This is a clear sentence that explains what the paragraph is going to be about. All the other sentences and evidence that you are going to use in this paragraph is to support your main idea or topic sentence. Some teachers call it topic sentence. I like to say the main idea sentence so that it fits in with the whole meal. But that is what it is. It is the main idea of what you are writing about in this very specific paragraph. Now, this is the topic sentence or main idea sentence, and it is like a mini thesis. Everything you are writing is working to prove your thesis within the introduction, but your main idea sentence is like a mini thesis that you are proving in this one paragraph. All right, so we got the M done. Now it's E, and E stands for evidence, and you are going to be getting your evidence within the story or the book that you are reading for your English class, text evidence. After you have written your main idea sentence and maybe several supporting sentences to explain the main idea, then you prove it with evidence. Now, I know I told you have a main idea sentence, and that doesn't mean that you only have to have one sentence and then go straight into evidence. If you want to give another supporting sentence, something that interests your reader, gives more background information, then you can go ahead and do that. Have your main idea sentence, you can give more sentences for support, and then you have your evidence. Your evidence is directly from the text and needs to be quoted correctly because you want to give credit to the author or the writer and the ideas that you're taking from somebody else. Your evidence to help you prove your thesis and your main idea sentence needs to be very important. It needs to be strong and compelling. You are trying to pick quotes to serve as evidence for your thesis, so you want the strongest ones possible that help you prove your idea or your opinion, which is your thesis statement. Now, your analysis is going to prove why your quote helps you to explain your thesis statement and your opinion. So the last thing I want to reiterate for evidence is that you want to pick the best possible quotes you can, the strongest quotes, to help you prove your evidence. All right, so now we're at the A, and the A stands for analysis. Now, I do think you need a two-part analysis to make it the strongest analysis that you can when describing the quote that you have chosen in order to prove your thesis statement. So let's look at analysis part one. This is the most important part of your body paragraph because this is where you are proving that your main idea sentence makes sense and is correct. Now, it is great to have a quote, it is great to have a strong quote, but really your teacher or your reader is looking for your own thoughts and your own take on the quote. What are you using this quote for? That's where your analysis comes in. How are you explaining your quote? How are you proving that this quote proves your thesis statement? Analysis part 1. This is a simple formula, so I do think that you should answer these questions once you get your quote. You need to answer what is happening in the quote, why is it happening, and what is the character feeling within that quote. If it's not about a character, then what is the symbolism talking about? What is the conflict that it is dealing with? What is the plot? Whatever you're talking about within a literary device, then you would explain that. This is the part 1 because you're just talking about the quote. Now remember, you want to be writing as though your reader or your teacher has never read this book or story before. So you want to be extremely clear. Now you're using a quote to give proof, but you're also explaining your proof. There's a lot of explaining that goes into writing an essay and like saying things over again. But that's really the formula, and that's how you can get a good grade and write stronger essays. Let's go to analysis part 2. All right, so part 2 goes deeper into analysis. This is where you show your thinking on literature. You explain why the evidence you chose supports your main idea. So analysis part 1 is really just about explaining what is happening in the quote, what is going on in the quote. You might think, but just read the quote, you know what's happening in the quote. No, that's not how essays work. The teacher wants to know that you know what is happening in that quote. So you're giving them a quote and then you're explaining that quote. And now in analysis part 2, you're explaining why that quote helps to prove your thesis statement. So let's look at the questions that you need to analyze in analysis part 2. I think it's pretty useful to take a screenshot of the questions that you need to analyze in analysis part 1 and 2, because this is part of the formula and it will help you write stronger essays. If you keep on using this formula and practicing writing essays, I guarantee that you're going to be stronger after a while. But let's look at the questions. Number 1, explain why the quote is important. Why is it even important to your main idea? Why is it important to your paper? And why does it answer the thesis statement? Number 2, explain what the quote reveals about the character or conflict in the story. Explain why this quote conveys the ideas that you are saying are true in your thesis statement. It's all dependent upon your thesis statement. Whatever you're trying to prove, that's what you want to say now in your analysis number 2. You're going to be restating what your thesis statement is because you want to prove it. And you're doing that in your analysis. Let's look at number 3. Explain how the evidence supports or proves your main idea. So after you give your evidence, you need to tell us how this evidence proves that main idea, and ultimately the thesis statement. All right, I'm up here now. Okay, we are at the home stretch of your body paragraph or meal paragraph. Now, the last part, the L in meal, stands for last sentence that links to your main idea. So you need to know, what are you talking about in this paragraph? I mean, I hope that's evident that you need to know what you're talking about in this paragraph. Now you need to take that last sentence and kind of rephrase what your main idea sentence was about. The link should summarize the entire paragraph. So like I said before, it's a lot of summarizing. It's a lot of restating what you've said before. That's why you need such an extensive vocabulary, because you kind of need to say the same things in different words. The last sentence should link back or relate to the main idea sentence. That's exactly what I said. That's why it's last sentence, plus it links back to the topic of this paragraph. The last sentence should close the paragraph nicely, wrap it up in a bow, close it out, and then you are ready for your next meal paragraph, in which you are going to have a different main idea sentence that still proves your thesis, but a whole different idea. But for this paragraph, your last sentence needs to wrap that paragraph up nicely. So it's basically a summary of the main idea sentence, because it's kind of saying what you've been writing about the whole time within this paragraph. Well guys, I hope this simple formula helped you. And to summarize what I talked about, your body paragraph consists of 4 things: main idea, evidence, analysis, 2 parts analysis, don't forget that, and your last sentence that wraps everything up nicely. Don't forget to follow this formula to write stronger body paragraphs and ultimately a stronger essay in the end. I hoped this helped you and that you're staying sane and safe. And don't forget, Peace, love, and essays. Bye.